Welcome back to It's a Tool Thing. Today with a little explanation video. I had a comment the other day on my tool haul about how to use this crimper. This is actually my older one, or one of my older ones. But I thought I'd go through the process real quick with you guys and just show you what I got going on. So these little extractors, I've used these forever and a day. One's actually, I don't know if I can get it to show up on screen here. Get the writing to read. There it goes. One's an inserter, this blue one over here, and this one here is the removal tool. These actually work pretty good and they last pretty well. But unfortunately, they've switched from using these crimps a lot of times, which is what this crimper takes. It's a little bullet style end. To these here, this is the same terminal for the exact same one I'm going to take apart here. But you can see these have a regular butterfly crimp, which is nice because you can use a basic tool or a universal style crimper. But the removal process becomes a real chore. They tend to get stuck and break these little thin plastic pieces. And then you got the plastic stuck in there. And you got to get that out, and then you still got to get the thing out. I had one here a while back. It was a real nightmare. That's actually why I spent the big money on these, which I've only got to use a few times so far. And I obviously didn't need the whole set. I probably could have just bought a couple, but I think it was $160 or something. I actually got that off the tool truck. But I'll show you. This is a WTech 3 style connector. This would be the truck side. It's just an old connector I pulled off that I usually keep spare parts. In case I get one that gets busted or something, it's easy to fix, especially out in the field. If I don't have a new one, I just need to get the truck up and running. I can figure out the details later if they want an actual new one, or if they're okay with that. Just got to keep them running. First thing you have to do is obviously get the wire loom pulled back, and then these two parts would be on there, which I just removed. This goes basically right here. As you can see here, kind of notches into these notches. And that's what your loom is supposed to connect to. And then this goes around the back and seals it and holds the loom in. I've already removed those. I'm going to go ahead and use these new ones. I've had a little bit of problems with them. Trying to get them. They don't work quite the same. They do work okay. Let's see if I might have to use a little pair of pliers. I was having a hard time grabbing a hold of this wire to pull it out. Grab a set of pliers here, which isn't something I normally have to do. Let's see if I can get that thing. There it goes. And this is actually one of those crimps that I was talking about. On this one, it's an actual butterfly crimp. And what happens is that tool is supposed to slide down there and hit this collar to unlock it. And when you're trying to use this one, obviously it's metal. It works okay, but it doesn't go all the way around, so you kind of work it to get it to release enough of the fingers. Whereas this unit here goes all the way around, but it tends to get caught on the little crimp tangs because it was actually designed to go over that, and it'll get caught on those other tangs. I tend not to use the inserter. Some guys do, some guys don't. I usually don't have a problem with it. Every now and again I'll have a problem with it. But the next thing you would do, once you got the wire out that you're replacing, and I've already done here, I haven't checked it, but I stripped this wire back on the end here. And there's a, see if we can see that little hole there. There's one on each side. I guess I'm lying to you. There's just one. And you want to install this in there and just make sure that you can physically see that through that hole, which I can see. I don't know how. Yeah, I think you guys can see that. And you want this to be as close to that body as possible, because that's why you need that inserter sometimes, is the wire might try to fold up on you. I don't run into that very often, but every now and again. So then you take this terminal and you put it into this tool. Well, first off, you make sure it's on the right gauge. I know it's on 20 gauge. That's what I usually use it for. But you set it to the size of wire that you're crimping. In this case, 20 gauge. And then you have two adjusters here. Actually, an adjuster and a jam nut. I don't know if this one's adjusted for this particular crimp yet. Actually, it is. So, I don't know how well you can see that. I usually stick my finger there and see if I can just barely feel that thing inside of there. I mean, it's actually adjusted right now for this particular crimp. But I'm going to change it just so you can kind of see. As you work that thing up, see how that thing's sticking proud right now? It's not going to crimp it in the right place. So you lower that thing down until it's basically flush with the surface where the crimp is. And then just tighten this jam nut down just to hold it in place. It's still, the terminal is removable at this point. So what I do is I just kind of half set it. So you can see there, see if it shows up good. It's got it kind of, it's not crimped it yet, but it's just kind of holding that terminal in there. And now that I know this wire is the right length that I've stripped, just set it in there so it's nice and flush. And you can actually feel that a little bit of spring. It's got a spring pushing. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. But you can feel that thing, so you're pushing into it, and then you finish the crimp. And once it's completed, then it will unlock. And that's why I was saying that it doesn't have those ledges with that plastic crimp tool. And these actually will remove usually pretty easy, but the plastic crimp tool doesn't work as well with the other ones. And at this point, you would locate which pin you want it in, which there's only one currently that's removed out of this. And then, all right, my fingers are cold. It's snowing like beat the band out here. Just slide that thing, like I said, this is the point where sometimes you would need that inserter, but most of the time you don't. And you just push it in, you should hear an audible click. I don't know if you heard that, I could just barely hear it. But once you get done there, you want to visibly check and make sure that that thing is all the way up against the outer ring, and then give it a nice little tug to make sure you got it nice and secure in there. At that point, you would be ready to reinstall this outer ring, which fits on here like this. And when you tighten that nut up, it actually jams that thing down and kind of helps it seal. And then you would put the loom here, which I don't have. And then you would slide this. Normally these parts would just be sticking back further on the wire loom. Get it past all this stuff here. And then I usually get it started right here. And then once I get it on the connector, and because this center part wants to spin into separate of this, once I get it locked in, then I would give that the final twist. And it should be all done. So that's just a quick review of how to use this crimper. It's a pretty handy tool. Like I said, I still prefer the old crimps. I have to work pretty hard because if you buy a harness repair kit for the WTech 3 series, they come with these crimps here, and they're fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the crimp itself. The pin's the exact same pin on the outside here, female. But where the problem I have is, like I said, with the inserter here, it doesn't fit on these as well. Or excuse me, the extractor. And these are a little removable. Just a thing that holds them together. Because normally you would fish this over the wire and kind of snap it on. But if you see here, this one's actually fitting fine. But it'll get caught on those little ledges and tend to break these little plastic things. I had one just before I purchased this Snap-on kit, and I must have gone through, I don't know, 6 of them, 8 of them, pulling out just a few, 2 or 3 wires. And then, of course, once you get the wire out, then you got to get all the chunks out because it won't set and lock back in. Like I said, that's just a quick review and how to use this Deutsch crimping tool. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. I always enjoy checking your feedback out. Have a great day.